Certainly some people in the packed gym at Northern Burlington High School Wednesday night were there to see a changing of the guard in the BCSL Liberty Division. The Moorestown wrestling team was tough, experienced, and after pins by Thomas Blanche and Ronald McCoy in the early going, off to a 21-0 lead. Where was the meet going to turn the Greyhounds' way?
It turned at 170 when our senior got pinned, when he should have won. And then at 82, when I had a senior captain, barely beat a JV kid. Turned at 195 when I had a kid lose to, again, another kid that I should have beat. And at heavyweight, again, throwing legs, which we've never taught to our heavyweights, and getting put to his back. So yeah, it was essentially a tidal wave of horrible wrestling from about 170 to 285.
The most painful of those turning points had to be heavyweight. The Quakers' James Lynn had just taken the lead over Pat Ivanko, but then he got too ambitious.
He kind of had me. He had the boot. He had double boots in, and what we went over during the week in the room was we gotta get to our hips in order to pry the boots out. And when he had me on top of him, I kind of felt that his left side was a little loose, and that was when I realized that I could just spin over and deck him.
Moorestown's 18-point lead shrank to 12 at that point. It shrank more with James Kuntz's overtime win over Will Inglis at 106, and even more when Kyle Hill brought an early into a toss-up bout at 113.
I just went out there and I did my stuff. It felt amazing because I was able to completely change the way that the match was flowing, like completely. Because if I would have lost that match, we would have lost.
Hill set the table for Garrett Totten, perhaps the only name wrestler left in the Greyhounds room, to score a pin that gave them their first lead of the night with just one bout to go. It fell to Blake Geibel to finish it off from there.
I feel like it's a lot of pressure, but all the work we put in, I kind of kept my nerves controlled out there. We worked too hard in the room for me to go out there and give it all up, so I had my nerves controlled and I was ready for that match. I think I could have wrestled better, but I think it was a good match overall.
Geibel's 10-6 decision clinched a 33-27 win for Northern Burlington, which took its first big step to climbing back to the top of the hill in the Liberty Division.
You don't know who any of these kids are, really. You know of one name. So to come through and beat a team, and Moorestown's good. They got a lot of talent. They brought a lot of kids back, and they fired right off. But we knew what we were going to have to do in the end, and people you don't know stepped up and beat kids that you know. So. Going to be prouder of them. Worked their tails off for this.
From Northern Burlington High School, this is John Lewis.